So, well, greetings. This Chit Chat Chat video is addressed to young Brandon, and I would just like to say that you remind me of a story of when I was out with my blind friend, and it was just hot summer day, and I just said I could go for a glass of milk, and he turned to me and said, "I know what glass is, but what is milk?" And I was just like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Milk is, a white fluid," and that's what I, just in my head told myself, like, idiot. How is he going to know what white is? And, he was just like, "Fluid, I know what that is. What is white?" So I was just like, okay. White is the color of the feathers on a crane. And he said, "Feathers. I know what feathers are. So what is a crane?" And I told him a crane is a bird with a crooked neck. And he said, "Okay, I know what neck is. What is crooked?" And at this point, I was just like, "What are you?" And I was just like, "Really?" So I just took his arm and I just said, "Look, this is straight. This is crooked." And, it was out of frustration. But I was even more shocked when, he was just like, "Oh, okay, now I know what milk is." And just, we went about our day. Now, I hope you hear that story. And when I tell you that you remind me of this story, it's not saying, Brandon, that you are A, B, or C. I'm just saying in this scenario, I see myself in just all these positions, right? But before I even get into that, there is just one thing that I've heard over and over, listening and watching the same video, where you say you do not respect any other religion except for Christianity / Catholicism because the Bible tells you, right? I'm paraphrasing here. But I went through the comment thread and saw the first one that came up was, respect the person, not the religion. And you said exactly. To which I have to propose to you, like, how hypocritical or perhaps even oxymoronic does that sound? Because it sounds absolutely contradictory to me. I've tried to put it so I don't know. I just, you're a young man. You're on a path, that you've charted for yourself. And, I'm not here to knock you off that path or whatever, but I'm just like a crossing guard coming out because, kids are coming. I got to blow the whistle and just say, "Look, this is where I have to rebuke you as your elder and someone who considers himself quite wise amongst elders. I hope that you have ears to hear what I'm about to share with you. And just find a better way to use your heart, what hearts are for, you know, like it's just, I see a young kid like you who can't even vote, still in high school, who's like rocking a Trump hat and it says, "Take America back," you know, and I'm just like, you know, these are just words, you know, words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, an enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there's something terribly wrong in this country, isn't there? Right? War, terror, disease. But you got to remember that words like freedom, justice, you know, like these are more than words, these are perspectives, right? And a religion is something that essentially serves as a foundation for our perspective, right? It's how we process and compute all the information that's incoming into our brains, this fabulous gift that we all have to be able to use as we wish, you know, and that's where I personally feel that my work is just focused more on the Christ consciousness amongst not only, you know, hopeful, you know, driven young priests like yourself, you know, that's your one circle. And then in the circle connected to yours would be your teachers, right? The Frank Turks, the apologetics, the popes, whoever you put in that other circle as like, these are like who I look up to. These are my mentors, right? And then of course, on top of that is Jesus and the Father. And, you know, it's just, I see you just falling into the same darkness that your elders, and, you know, not just of my generation, but my generation's elders and their elders, you know, it's just a perpetuating ball of darkness that's just like breached its critical mass, that I personally would explain myself as I'm the opposing force to this dark energy that I feel and see and measure when I hear and, you know, come in contact with your universe, right? It's your universe. And by universe, I mean just like the world that we call our mind, right? Some people call it narcissism. I call it narcissism, but I also call it, you know, the universe, our universe. So when you think about, or at least when I think about multi-universe theory, you know, scientifically, it's just like, yeah, I could totally see that on a religious and philosophical perspective, that we are our own universe, right? Or maybe even a planet or a star, you know, but like, again, these are words that aren't perspectives, but they are deeper, right? And nothing is more deep than the word respect, right? And this is where my father told me that he views a sign of being respected as being feared, right? Total like God-fearing, like nature. That's the sign of respect. And it was something that growing up, it really like clashed with me. I was just like, I don't know. I think respect is about just like love. And, like just I was naive at the point, but I understand what it is, what he was saying now, even now more so, like as I'm speaking these words aloud to you and to everybody who is here with us. But young Jacob, if you cannot train your universe to be able to see the error in your phrasing specifically, I'm just here to just help you. Like I said, I'm just the crossing guard. Just stop. We got children coming. I just want to, like, this is you and me one-on-one, because I hope you do reach that level where you're going to teach the next generation. But if you're going to teach them the same thing that the elders of my generation have been contributing to the whole mess that I would just say that we are all in together, of all generations, all the living generations in this world, that we are all sharing this one room, this space called the earth, Mother Earth, right? If God is the Father, then Mother Earth, like, that's just how I look at it. It's just like, that's the relationship, right? Call me a heretic, but it's just, no, I'm seeing the connection, right? But you explained Catholicism very clearly to me in a very simple, like, clear way. Just like, there's a lot of, devotion and respect given to Mary, the mother of Jesus, because again, Catholics acknowledge that without her, like, forget like the Father, like without Mary, there would have been no Jesus. To which I tell people, like, yes, you're absolutely right, but it's such a patriarchal, like, world that it's always been the father and the son, so daughters get the shaft, wives get, like, it's just, and you see it when you read in the Bible, like the first book, Genesis, right? Like, but here's the thing, like, there's a saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? Now, in this wordplay, there are those who are the horse. There are those who feel that they are the one leading horses to the water that they thirst for, whether that be Jesus or another metaphorical symbol for water, knowledge perhaps, and then there's the water, right? I want to help you become the water if you want to, but I don't feel that you probably will, because you're on this path. But I'm telling you now that when Pope Francis came out and said all religions lead to God, I was just like, okay, well, he heard my message to him, right? So I just pray that you hear what I'm saying, because all religions do lead to God, because God is love. And when I hear people say that Jesus is the Son of God, it's like, yes, he's the Son of love. He was loved by his parents, right? Like, it's just this simple tweak in your, file of words and phrases that I want to just like help update you, like a software upgrade, So, yeah, I hope this just finds you well, and I hope to hear you just be able to say something better than you do not respect anybody's religion other than that of Christianity, because that is just you don't want to be saying that when you're face to face, with the one knocking on the door per se. So with that said, Remain blessed, and I'll be watching you.